Hello, what's up? It's Whiskey Wednesday with me, Dave, owner of Paverson Games. Really good to finally get back on here. It's been a little bit of a while. I've taken a little break, mainly because I've been so busy, but really excited tonight. Normally, I'd be having a little drink, but I'm not right now, and I'll tell you why in a second. But hopefully, people out there have poured themselves a drink. Be sure to say hi out there. Chat. Tell us what you're having tonight. Whether it's whiskey, soda, milk, water, tea, some nice tea, some bedtime tea. We've got a lot to do tonight. A big part of it. I always get this wrong. A big part of it is behind me here, unboxing a couple things, which is exciting. So we'll get to those in a bit. First, I want to do a bunch of little news and other things first. I do need to get a drink, but I wanted to wait to get my drink until I was live so I could show you this cool thing my wife got me. The Whiskey Advent Calendar, Explorers Edition. Hopefully people are out there and they can hear me and see me. Someone say something so I can chat. Maybe I'll chat. Hello out there. Hopefully you can see it. Say hi. Comment so I know someone's watching, someone hears me, because otherwise I'm just, well, whatever. I'm just speaking to the ether. There's something. Thanks, Dave. Dave says something. Matt does too. Hello, everybody. Post what you're drinking, what you're watching tonight, what you're looking forward to tonight. And I'll get to the unboxing in a little bit. First, I want to show a couple things. So again, here I go again. Drinks by the Dram. Look at that. It's my wife got this for me. Whiskey Advent Calendar. This was actually our 20th anniversary gift to me. That was so thoughtful of her, because these things aren't cheap. So it's been really fun though to have a separate dram every single day. So I'm actually going to open that now. Let's see, what's today? The 18th. Where are you? So you just pop this out, pull it, and then you have this little guy you pull out. We'll just kind of have him. There we go. I'll put this down here. And each day it's a different spirit that you pull out. So this one, let's see if that's too bright. Nicknean. Quiet Rebels Annabelle. Single malt Scotch whiskey. I don't know. Let's try it, shall we? Now, normally I'd pour this into my own little glass that I have, but I have another gift that someone gave me that I wanted to share with you all that is pretty darn cool. So Matt Paquette is and his awesome crew have been designing all the graphic design work for Luthier. And it's been quite the long journey. Very complex big game, as we'll see in a bit. And Matt, I got this the other day, surprise out of nowhere, sent me this cool wooden box. I mean, check this thing out. So it's that's laser engraved, Paverson Games, pretty sweet. And so I go to open it. It's got this cool little latch there. And what do I find inside? Let's see if I can hold this up. But Glencairn glasses with some nice slate beer mats, coasters, as well as whiskey stones. But what's cool about it is, then I'm going to get one out and I'm going to use it. He's got etched on one side Paverson Games. That's going to go. And then on the other side, distilled. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that awesome? So pretty sweet. I'm going to have my initial first dram out of it, opening up this Nicknean that I got from the daily dram. So again, here we go. Let's see how this looks. All right, there it is, folks. Nicknean. Ooh, listen to that crystal sound. Some delicious Nicknean whiskey. So we'll see here. Again, but the cool thing about this is they're all new. Like I never heard of Nicknean. Oh, there you can see it nice and clear. And it's neat because then you get to sample all these different drams. There's been a couple that I know. So like, for instance, I was having a Talisker that I love. That was great. And I had a Singleton that I knew. So there's a couple I recognize, but most of them are new. So that's nice. Yeah, so that's fun. That's really fun. Every day, testing out a new dram. And I don't think they're going to be getting necessarily, better as they go. I'm not sure, but it's pretty cool. So if you are someone that's interested in whiskey, I'm excited to kind of try and make this a tradition if I can afford it, because it is pretty expensive, but pretty neat for sure. All right, let's move on. So a couple other things I wanted to point out. So again, thank you, Matt and Co. For this awesome box. The box alone is so cool, and then inside having these custom glasses. I can't wait for the next game night. I'm going to crack that open, and everyone gets to have their own Glencairn glass. Pretty sweet for sure. I feel pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. You know you've made it when you have etched glasses with your company logo on them. So pretty cool, in a box to speak for it. All right, so let's dive in. What are you drinking? Let's see. Dave tonight is watching the Live King live action. Ooh, oh yeah, drinking Dr. Pepper, opening Star Wars Lego Advent Calendar. Ooh, lots of good stuff. Very, very cool. Thanks, Dave, for sharing. So share what you're having tonight, what you're watching, what you're hoping to watch, what you're hoping to find out tonight, and we're going to dive right into things. A couple other things I want to point out really quick. Tis the season for gift giving, so I have a couple other things I want to show you that I received. This one I'm super excited for. So many of you know Richard. Richard's the developer for Luthier. He's just an amazing person and part of the Paverson Games family as far as all things development. But also I look to him all the time for advice, and he has been working on a game, and he's been working on many games. He designs and develops, but he decided to publish a game, folks. That's right. He didn't think to pitch it to me, unfortunately, but he has published his own game called Overs. His company, Matt Lyons, on the bottom there. And Overs is a game all about cricket. So for our folks in the States, we're like, oh, cricket. Oh, yeah, it's that thing they play in India and Australia and the UK. But over there, it's like everybody lives and breathes it. I got to go to a cricket match, but this is pretty cool. I mean, check this out. If you are a cricket fan and you're watching overseas, be sure to think about it, but only probably if you're in the UK, maybe in the EU. I can't remember if that works or not, Richard. But unfortunately, you cannot get it over in the States, mainly because he's like shipping these out of his house. But who knows? Maybe I can bring a couple over back from next time I see him if you are interested. So congratulations to Richard for successfully not only designing, but shipping this. I think it's going to be a pretty huge hit. So pretty awesome Overs by Richard Woods. So very, very cool. Very excited. I thought this was so cool. So neat little Christmas gift that I opened early that I got from him. Can't wait to play that with my family. The best part is none of us are going to know what the heck's going on. We'll know that, follow the rules, but we're like, okay, but anyone who plays cricket will know everything. The other thing I wanted to open really quick, this is not a gift per se, but it's something from a friend I know that is on the game design and publishing journey, just like I am. And yeah, congrats for sure, Richard, on that. Again, any cricket fans out there, be sure to kind of look this up and follow it. See if you can get someone to get you a copy from over in the UK. The other thing I wanted to show you was, and I'm going to need scissors to open this. I got this today. This is a Kickstarter, and the weird thing, it came in like this, like soft little squishy thing, and I thought, like, okay, what is this? I didn't know until I started opening it, and then I thought, oh, I'm going to stop opening it, and I'm going to open the rest on camera because I know what this is. So let me see if I can do that without, I don't want to hurt it. There we go. So this is a Kickstarter by a game designer. His name is Matt Cambick, and it's so cool. What it is it's a first it's like, oh, it's a plushie. Oh, that's cute. Oh no. Oh, but there's more. So Matt designed this cute little whale plushie. He designed this game. Hey, Ollie, thanks for tuning in. But wait, you think, oh, it's a plushie. But what's cool is you can zip it open, and inside, out vomits a game called License to Krill. Now, let's see here if it's got a, oh, it doesn't have a box. It's just, that's funny. It's just like cards right there. So I'm going to hold this up to, that's the best way I can do this to show the box, I guess. or the thing. So out comes this game called License to Krill. And it's a simple, fun card game where you objective on your turn, you choose a krill card, do fantastic actions, and send the whale plushie hunting for someone else. So it incorporates this awesome whale plushie that's got a bow tie by the way. Look at that business whale, while also playing a game. So pretty cool. I'm excited to give this to my kids for Christmas. This will be a fun little stocking stuffer. I can kind of stuff into it. But pretty cool, and congrats, Matt, for coming out with License to Krill successfully. I was very excited to get this in the mail and swimming on through. So pretty cool for sure. Congrats on that. Oh, there we go. Nice. It says it right there. License to Krill by Maka Games. So nice work. Really, I've seen people posting about this online, and it really does live up to it. This is a pretty sweet little plushie. So cool. That's pretty awesome too. So lots of stuff in the mail. All right. So moving on. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about first. For those that are tuning in to the game kind of unboxing, kind of sneak peek, which is back here, right? What this is a pre-production copy, which means that not everything is done, not everything is right. But what that's neat is you get to see that, and I'll show you some of that. But what this also means is that not everything has arrived. I was hoping everything would, but in time for today, but I'll have some you can see for sure. You'll still get a good sense of it, but not everything. Things are arriving in waves because they want to get it to me as soon as possible so that I can get it in time. Hopefully start manufacturing in time for UK Games Expo, which is kind of our drop dead date that we're trying to aim for. So again, you'll see that as we go through. But first, I want to talk about what I've been so busy on. I've been busy with trying to get everything ready for Luthier, but also I've been busy with teaching. And I wanted to show you just a little glimpse into kind of the culminating effort of my students in teaching. So I've got this up here right now. Let's see if this works. There we go. So I'm going to walk you through this quickly. This is a shot of me and my students at Stout Game Expo. It's our university. I'm a game design professor. For those that don't know, I teach game design, like an introductory to game design class where we do a lot with tabletop and card games. Obviously, many of these students want to be video game designers or artists or programmers. But I get a chance to meet them at the very beginning of their journey and kind of build that foundation with them. And this is where we're celebrating all together. I have about 65 students across 3 sections. And here's a shot of my classroom. So this is my classroom where we are always play testing and prototyping. So I'm teaching basics of game design, fundamentals, iteration, design thinking, and then we're applying that obviously to games. And this is when we actually exchange play tests with another class. We're always play testing. Here's a couple of shots I just thought I'd shoot you through at Stout Game Expo with some of our students. So they've got the game they designed as a group. The challenge is they have a month. They have a groups of usually 3 to 4 students, and they need to design a game from start to finish, from the very beginning to what looks like somewhat of a kind of a production style copy, as best as I can, hand making it. So as far as like a polished prototype, they've got to do cell sheets, as you can see in the bottom left. They've got to do a box. They really have to, and they have to do kind of a mini booth, if you will, too. And then, of course, they've got to run the play test, too. So they're running plays of the games with audience members that come by. So I just took a couple pictures of them, the groups with their games. Really proud of these folks. They did an awesome job, too. They're obviously proud, too. They worked really hard on this as well. And again, as you can see, a lot of people come out. We usually see a couple hundred in addition to the hundreds of students. So it's usually around 500 to 750 students in the spring, even bigger attendees, for this one night only event. So really exciting stuff there, showing off their game. Some of them really get into it and dress up too. So this game actually was pretty funny. It was basically, the concept was, it was a shootout, but instead of guns, you use snakes, and you're like shooting snakes at each other. It was pretty funny. And again, they all want to go on to do video games, but this is a good opportunity for them to kind of flex those design muscles as well. Thinking about pitching, thinking about presenting their work. These classes are made up of about half of the students are programmers, computer scientists, and about half of the students are artists in the class. So pretty cool. Lots of fun stuff. So I'm just going through these quickly to show you some of those. And then at the end, they get some awards, and they get audience awards. They get other like best art, best visuals, best design. So again, pretty cool stuff. I'm really proud of my students there. So that was SGX Stout Game Expo. That's what I've been up to, and I'm finishing up grading now. All the projects are turned in. Now it's time to grade, and then it's time to move on to like a full month of like focus on production and for game papers and game stuff. Speaking of production, one thing I'm excited about is the 3D printer I got. So I got a 3D printer because we're starting to print. I'm starting to make prototypes for our next games. For example, this one is printing out a bunch of the same thing. Basically, I won't tell you what they are yet, but basically these little cones being printed out that are going to be used for games, for a game that we're working on. They will have at Protospiel, Minnesota in late January. And you can see that's a different color of printing just hundreds of them. Well, not hundreds, but eventually it will be hundreds. So again, really exciting stuff. That printer is amazing. It's a workhorse. It has 4 different filaments that all hook up, which is pretty cool too. So that's exciting stuff as well. Okay, so wanted to show you a little bit of that. Also, a couple other pieces of news to fill you in on. I think last time I had talked about how I'm starting to expand the company. So some of the expansion things were starting to look at hiring new people. So I put out a call about 2 weeks ago to do a hire for what I'm calling a community and events coordinator. Essentially like social media, but working with events, also working with our community on all the different channels as well. And with that, I posted that. I posted it in a couple different places, and I've gotten 130 applications. Oh, good Lord. So 130 applications. Many of them are just, many of them are very qualified. Some of them are just super, super qualified. It's been really interesting. I've spent time with every single application, reading through it thoroughly, considering what would be best. And I'm excited because we're starting to kind of think about moving to that next stage with things like thinking about interviews and other things. So stay tuned. I hope within the next month or so, I'll be able to announce our new community and events coordinator. Very exciting stuff for Paverson's Games. Another thing that's very exciting is the fact that I'm also hiring an intern. An intern is going to be starting. It's actually a Stout student, a UW Stout student from my university. Is going to be starting very soon. They're going to be helping craft the prototype. So I basically am going to have someone making a bunch of prototypes as well as other things too. I thought that would be a good experience to give to the students, but also obviously help out Paverson Games as well. So that's going to be coming soon as neat, which is neat. All right. Last thing I want to show you before we get into the unboxing. I just thought this would be helpful for you to kind of see the back end of things. Let's see if I can share my screen here. I wanted to talk a little bit about how we make decisions on ordering things. So what you can see here, actually, let me do that. Yeah, maybe that. Well, it doesn't matter. So what you see here is my master list of all the different SKUs that Paverson Games has. So technically right now, I've got, let's see, I've got, what does that say? 26 different SKUs for Paverson Games, English stuff that I make. We've got other ones as well that are other languages too. And this is how I fill it out for figuring out reprints or new printings too. So we can see here, for instance, we've got about 6,300 orders of the Luthier Deluxe game on backer kit. So you can see up here at the top backer kit. And then I have others, how much I'm ordering for myself to kind of be able to have at conventions as well. That then totals over here. This is helpful because this helps me to kind of see how much I'm thinking about printing. Also distilled, a lot of reprint stuff with distilled too. So I didn't do this math beforehand, but it looks like we've got about, let's see, about 14,000 Luthier games being printed, just over 6,000 retail and over 8,000 deluxe, and that's just in English. We're going to be reprinting for our third printing about 6,000 distilleds, as well as a bunch of expansions. So again, kind of exciting stuff because what I have to do is I have to then get all this ready and I have to send this to the manufacturers to say like, okay, this is how many we need. So anyway, I just thought this would be interesting for you to see kind of some of the outcomes of what was popular. So obviously lots of promo packs, but we can, let's see if I can make this bigger. I bet that's hard for you to see there. There you can see things like Let's see, the engraved worker chips were popular, the realistic resources, the enamel inspiration, card sleeves. While some things maybe not as popular, which I expected, like the baton or the playmat. The baton, because it's not a gameplay element, it's just for silly fun. And the playmat, because it's big and it's expensive, and a lot of people might not be able to use that. But what this does is it allows me to kind of have that printed out. You'll see that I'm not actually printing that many extra because I just don't need to, but I'll have some available at cons. So our backers are going to be the ones that really benefit from this. So again, if you're watching this and you have not filled out your backer kit pledge yet, be sure you do that because these numbers are going into that. That's also why I locked it, which you've probably heard me talk about that in updates. Why I've locked that is exactly for this reason. I need to know those numbers roughly. Oh, obviously we are a little bit more, but if there's anything kind of crazy, I'm not going to be able to support that. So again, just I show you a little bit behind the scenes. And then of course we've got our foreign language partners as well that are ordering different stuff too. That are mainly just, of course, ordering their own games, Spanish, Italian, German, that type of thing. So anyway, so that's that. All right, I need a drink. I've been talking too much. Okay, so let's do some unboxing stuff. It is time. Now I'm gonna move to my other camera to do this. I think I'll be able to figure this out. We'll see how this works. And then I'm going to turn my mic on for that one and turn the mic off for the other one so that I can carry this over to behind you. Actually, before I do that, I'll bring these two boxes over. So we have two boxes because again, remember there's two versions. Unlike Distill, there's two versions of Luthier. There's a retail version and a deluxe version, or a standard version, if you will, and a deluxe version. And you can see the difference in thickness is pretty substantial, right? So here's the deluxe version on the bottom that would have the trays. I'm sorry, everybody, the trays are not ready yet. They're not here yet, so I don't have the trays with me, but that's the deluxe version. And then the retail standard version is on the top, which is a lot more kind of what people would expect. When people saw the bottom box at cons or wherever this summer, they about lost it. Like, what? And I kept saying, well, that's the super deluxe version. It has the inserts and all the all this stuff. And so that helps, I think, people understand, okay, this is the retail version. It's not as beefy. It's still pretty darn heavy, though. So that's interesting. Oops, I've got it upside down. That's okay. Let me show you. Yeah, I'll do this really quick. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this when I'm pointing down because that's going to be easier along. So I'm going to try and transition right now. Stick with me. I won't be going anywhere. I'm going to pull this up. Let's see here. I'm going to turn. Add to stage. There we go. Okay. There it is. Okay. The Dave cam is working. Hopefully you can hear me. And let's see. How do I turn it? I'm going to turn my camera off. How do I turn my camera off? Stop cam. Boom. Just make me full. Nope. That's not it. That might be the best we can do, folks. Nope, stop sharing that. Remove that. I'm just shifting around here. Yeah, I think that's the best we can do. That's interesting. Okay, unless, I can remove me. Boom, there we go. All right, perfect. Okay, let's see here if this works. Hopefully you can all still hear me as I move around here. I don't know if I can see how. Yeah, I'm just going to look. Hopefully, audio working. Okay, good, cool. All right, so let's do this, and I'll try and keep an eye on the chat, which is over there. You're going to see my office now, or actually my game room / office. So let's take a look at this. So here's the retail. Nothing new here. We know this beautiful cover by Vincent. The sides, actually, we chose to have the sides the same on both. We didn't want to really mess with the box because it was so gorgeous. So, for instance, like, sure, this is great with the retail, but I didn't want to change it. We played with the idea of like making this black for the deluxe, but we just loved this so much that we didn't want to mess with it. So what we did do for the deluxe was we did a couple different things. First, and you can see it there, we embossed it. We double embossed it. So what this means is that the violin itself has a sheen to it that does not exist on the retail. And obviously right now I'm doing it with it's not going to be that glossy or that glary. I'm doing it because I've got my light right here. But you can see that the UV is there, but you can also see kind of that it's embossed, which means it's raised up a little bit. And then I chose to do a double emboss. So that means it's raised there too. So the hands pop out. I mean, not a lot, but the hands, you can feel it. It has like a separation, and then this does too. So it pops up one level and then pops up a second level there. So that's UV embossing. Then, of course, there's UV on the words themselves. This is one area we've got to fix. You can see it's a little off. So this is why we get the production copy. We can see that this is off a little bit. The UV, it's almost like a drop shadow on it. So we've got to get that fixed. There's also UV on the side. Let's see if I can get it to shine. There you go. As well. And that it's UVs on all sides, somewhere selectively. So here, can I get it? No. Anyway, the Luthier is UV too. So you can see as far as the boxes go, the size is pretty substantial, the difference. The footprint is the exact same, but the height is what is different there. I'm checking. I hope we can see it. That you can see it. Yeah, it is Rado style. Okay, hopefully you're all seeing this. And yeah, I'm going to move Matt's awesome thing. Matt, I just see you just popped in. I shared this earlier, so you have to go back in time and take a look at that. Here's all my collection of dice towers. Okay, so let's pop in. So actually, first thing I'm going to do is, because I think this would make sense. This stuff came a couple days ago. I opened it, but I didn't go through too much of it. What just arrived today, though, is this very long package, as well as this package, which I don't know what it is, both from Panda as well. So let me get a second here. Sorry, everybody. Hope I'm not making you too sick. And I'm going to get my scissors. I have a feeling I know what this long package might be, and I think it might be good for us to open that now. So I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to set you all down here for a second. Sorry, everybody. This really is like old school Rado, isn't it? Okay. How does this work? Opening long package. Thank you for your patience, everybody. And almost there. Oh, the suspense is killing you, I know. Oh my gosh, I'm like stabbing myself. I'm cutting wrong. Someone would think I know how to open a package. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, good Lord. Yep, that's what I thought it was. All right. Okay, folks. Inside lives the giant playmat. And I'm opening it the wrong way, but let's take a look at this. Oh, good Lord, it's giant. Who thought this would be a good idea to make a playmat this big? Oh, good Lord. Okay. Let's see this thing unwrap, unroll. So, as a reminder, why is it? There we go. As a reminder, we had a playmat that I wanted to make sure that you could not only play Luthier on, but all your games. You could get this if you got the Magnum Opus Pledge, or if you got just it on its own. So I'm going to move these aside and unroll it. This is really hard two-handed. I need like one of my kids as a helper. Now remember, it's two-sided. So when you unroll it, and I just got this too. Put this aside for a second. On one side is a nice wood grain playmat. So you can use this for any game you want. Okay. You can see we chose to get this extra thick. It's got Papers and Games, kind of small in the corner. It's stitched, but it's a wood grain painted by Vincent. Okay. And so this is just a normal playmat that you can use for all your games whenever you want. Or, of course, if you want, you can, if you want to just play Luthier, you can have this fully illustrated, gorgeous scene by Vincent Dutrait to play Luthier on as well. Complete with fun little Easter eggs hidden throughout. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh, this thing. I'm like drooling over this thing. Cool flags he's put down too. And remember, everything here, you can just play the game as normal. There's a fun little cello or double bass. So this would allow you to play the game just completely as normal. There's kind of a sneak peek of the board itself. Really cool, really fine, high kind of HD quality. I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but high DPI quality on the printing as well. So hopefully you can all see that. And I think I'm hoping people are seeing this and commenting. I just can't see. I'm so far away, so I'm just talking to myself, but that's okay. So you can see I have to zoom out pretty far to get it. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, Dave, is that how much space Luthier takes up? Yes, it is. Now this is the exact same size as the board, the main board. And then we've set it up so this will hold where you would have a player board as well. And then obviously on the other side, facing kind of upside down, facing the sky, would be the other one. So you can fit all 4 player boards as well as everything else on here. This is designed to fit on a table so that you can, use this for other games as well. So that's the play mat. I'm actually going to flip it over now to do more unboxing because it'll be easier to see on this. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to use this all the time now, people. This is great. Now, the other thing I was a little worried about, and we'll see, is I'm going a little bit the extra mile, and I'm going to be including this non-slip mat in every single one because I felt that if I have a double-sided play mat that both sides is neoprene, I was really worried that on a wood surface, it would slip and slide. This one obviously has rubber. So I decided to include, as well as courtesy to all of you, a non-slip surface that you can roll out and lay on top so that it doesn't move around. And I'll test that out later. But I really felt as you know, Paverson Games, we always want to do as best a quality experience as possible. And I really felt that was going to be important here. So that's that. And let's see. Let's see. I hope, dang, that's legit. Gotta talk to a guy to get one of those. Okay, good. So hopefully you're seeing it. So let's take some stuff out here now. Let's take the main game out and we'll look at what we have in the deluxe. Again, everybody, I'm sorry we don't have everything today because stuff is still arriving, but we've got some stuff. Now, the first, come on, there we go. The first thing you're going to see is obviously there's not going to be things that are like fully wrapped. We've got the cards in paper wrapping. A good example here is I've decided that I think even though I wanted to try and be eco-friendly with the cards and the wrapping, I'm worried they're going to knock around too much and get damaged. So we might end up going with plastic wrapping. We've got the beautiful reference cards. We'll, of course, have some baggies. And remember, this is the retail edition. We'll have some baggies in there as well for people to use. Remember, we have 2 rule books. We have the main rule book, and each rule book is 30, well, technically 32 pages. So 2 32-page rule books. Gorgeous rule books and high quality printing and paper. Just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And Matt and Mar just did an unbelievable job putting this together. Really beautiful rule book. So that's the one rule book. And then, of course, we also have the second one. That's the rehearsal. We always do this with Paverson Games for our heavier, medium, and heavier weight games. We want to make sure that you're onboarded. So we walk you through the first round. But then also we have some lore in the back. So Kevin helped write the kind of the mini bios for every single person, every single instrument in the game. So you can learn a little bit more. And then, of course, we have those solo rules in the back as well. And of course, the back of each rule book has kind of a reference guide that you can sit up on the table and always have handy to be able to kind of reference all the different icons and other things as well in the game. So awesome stuff there. I'm not going to punch anything out, but I'm just going to show you some of the different things. So we've got our Luthier tiles, our families. You choose to play as one of those. these are some tiles that you put on the board if you have. Well, there's not one that puts that. 1 to 2 players. So you cover up certain parts on the board to play a 1 to 2 player game, solo or 2-player game. Now, none of this punch is actually using die cut. This is actually using like equivalent to like a cricket that is like a blade that's cutting it out. But what you're going to see here is a massive amount of cardboard. The rest of this is cardboard, and there's a lot. In fact, without damaging things, I'm going to see if I can pull this out here. There we go. So you can see there's a lot of cardboard that ships with the game, right? So these cards, the thing that's not here, as you'll probably notice, is the wood. And there's a lot of wood, and that's the thing that's coming later. So I'm sorry that you don't get to see that today, but we'll do another one of these so you can see that. You can see that how we've laid this out. Again, this is for the retail version. The deluxe version is dual layered, so they come separate. But each one has its own punch board that has the player board on it. They're just gorgeous. And then obviously all the things like the money, the different tiles. And this is an example of why we do this process. You can see, I'm working with the factory on it right now. I think the files we submitted definitely are not like this. And I think it really comes down to, because this is a production copy, it's not using the actual die. And so you can see it's not registered right. Everything else is doing pretty darn well in here. But this top corner on all of these punches seem to be doing that. So that's a good example of why we do this, because then Panda will take a look at that and let me know how they can fix that. Because obviously we don't want that to happen in the final game. Here's one that doesn't have any other small punch, but does have the resolution board along with the gray player. We switched to gray because we wanted to make sure that we hit all the proper color deficiency and kind of color use for people with sight to make sure we hit that right. So we actually switched from green to gray. So we've got a blue, a gray, a yellowish, and a red. And again, you can see each one of these is kind of similar. Lots of those different things along with a player board. Now, this is all in the standard, in the retail, because in the deluxe, none of these sheets actually come in the deluxe because it's metal coins. These are wood. These are dual layered. So these are actually just in the kind of the standard version. Everyone will get this though. This is the some inspiration as well as the different awards people can go for. Your own baton that you can punch out too. You can see we decided that when we put the point tracker on the board itself, it goes to 50, 49 technically. So now you'll get one of these. You can flip it over when you get to 50 or 100. There's another one. There's both the dome for tracking the rounds as well as the market, and of course the tiniest violin in the world. Here is the board itself. I'll try and fold this out. I don't want to damage it. I'm doing this one-handed. But you can see the board itself. Here we put that dome we just saw on top, and we put the market we saw on the bottom. And that's why you can see the advantage of that beautiful big neoprene mat, because that, of course, does it all for you. It's already there. You can see that scoreboard or score tracker I was talking about along the bottom. It goes up to 49, and then you loop. You can see when you're placing certain things, a 3 to 4 player game uses that. A 1 to 2 player game, though, covers that up. So those are the type of things that we talk through in the rules, but allows you to have it be pretty flexible. Sorry, it's popping around. I think it's my camera trying to do different things. But again, really beautiful stuff that worked out here. We changed some of the colors in the orchestra so that they aren't the same as player colors. So now we've got some really nice different kind of complementary colors that work here. And I won't go through all the cards because it's just kind of going through cards, but these all turned out beautifully. Yeah, these are hard to open up right now. Let me do one really quick though while I do this, so you can see the instrument and patron cards though, especially would be good. Almost there. Okay. So these turned out beautifully as well. Let me hold one up. So we can see here, and this is one of the more fancier patrons that's a noble patron, and those go all the way down to performers, and even, let's see if we have royals here too, and even some royals like Queen Vic there. Oops, get away from the shine. So exciting stuff there. The instruments too are just looking phenomenal. We kind of did a redesign on the instrument cards, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. Kind of seeing what you need to do for the roughing bench, and it locks to and arrow points to the roughing bench. and what you need to do for the finishing bench, and it locks to the finishing bench. So those are really exciting as well. And like I said, player aids are working out well. Each player will have their own player aid, as well as basically 2 player aids, one that's custom to them and one that's generic but has all 4. Okay, good. Sorry, I hope everyone's able to see this. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of talking to the ether. Well, maybe I can see the chat. Let's see here. Chat? Oh, no, it says chat with everyone in the studio, so that's not you all. Okay, hopefully you're still seeing stuff. I'm going to keep talking here. So that folds up. So let's move this aside and let's take a look at the Deluxe. Now, there's not a whole lot of a difference in the Deluxe because I don't have the metal coins and I don't have all the fancy wood bits, or the metal coins or the wood bits or the insert. And those are some of the biggest things for the Deluxe, but there's still a couple things. We can use the finger holes. You can see that there's a, whoops, sorry, it's probably making everyone sick. Finger holes there to make it easier to open because it is such a big box. One-handed. Oh, pardon me. And then so there's it's kind of like, oh, this is lame. There's not much in here. Yeah, that's because this is the only stuff that would be found in the Deluxe. Now this isn't found in the Deluxe, but here's an example of all the sleeves. I tried them out. They're awesome. Some sleeves specifically for Luthier. I'm getting stickers ordered, so that's that too. This will come in the box, in the Deluxe box when you open it. This will show you what is in the Deluxe game. Actually, this will help for you all. So you can see dual layer boards, dual layer resolution board, and then screen printed everything. All this stuff is screen printed, hundreds, and I mean it. I think it's over 200 screen printed tokens in the Deluxe. Metal coins, obviously, as well as the resource trays. So lots of awesome stuff in the Deluxe version. And on the back, we have a nice how to repack Luthier. So it shows you how to pack everything up as well and shows you what you might want to put in your kind of unique trays too. So exciting stuff there. One thing that you will find is that in the box, because I didn't want to make this that everybody had to get it, because then it would have been a very expensive game. In the box is going to come kind of this void cardboard box that basically says, hey, if you got the Deluxe instruments, which are these, those fancy upgrades that look like the actual instruments, if you got that, then put it in here, because this is where it goes. If you didn't, just keep it in here so everything stays snug. So that's just going to be printed on there, just to let people know. Let's see, a couple things just to show you a dual layer board. So there's a couple of dual layer elements. So the resources themselves are dual layered. Where you place your chip, your worker chips, here are dual layered. Obviously not on the main board, we can't do that, but here where you place them are dual layered, because you're just usually placing 1 or 2, not a giant stack. Where you place your awards are dual layered. And these are wood. And where you place your Luthier family is dual layered. You place it into that frame. Obviously, the patience cubes that go underneath it. Now, you'll note that looks kind of junky, and that's because this is, again, not die cut. This is kind of, almost think of it as hand cut. It's not. It's Cricut cut kind of, but it's not the quality that you're going to expect. It's going to be a lot better in the final version, but you get the picture. And then last but not least, the actual patron spots are dual layered as well. And these will fit the sleeves. Don't worry, sleevers. And so this kind of keeps your patron snug in there. It doesn't slide around, which is one thing we were finding happening quite a lot. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, what about layered on the back? Well, for 2 reasons it's not. One, that would be a triple layer board, which is possible, but it can be very expensive. But 2, that's where we have the solo board. And the solo board does not have any layer to it. It doesn't really need it, honestly. There's only a couple places you'd be moving it around. And with the solo players, not using it that often, a solo player, I don't know what the percentage is of solo players. For us to do dual layer or triple layer is very expensive, but it's still kind of supporting that. And each one of the backs is different as far as the color. So if you like playing with red, then you can play against gray solo or whatever it might be. So again, these are looking awesome. The resolution board is also dual layered. We found this very helpful when passing this around the table. It doesn't shift at all. So that's really nice. And then last but not least, hiding in here is our promo pack. I'll show you. These are the ones that you all chose, Kickstarter backers. So I'll just kind of lay these out really quick. So awesome stuff on these promos. There's the patrons. Oops, yeah, sorry, got a couple Queen or Catherine the Greats. We've got a handy rules card. We've got the infamous triangle, the accordion, the mandolin, and the ocarina. You'll see that on each of these, it's kind of hard to see. There's one. There's a little green kind of pendant that comes down. That's how you can tell it's a promo card. That's it. We wanted to make it subtle. So it's on the front of the cards only, very subtle, green in the top right, because obviously you do not want to know that it's a promo card on the back when you're looking at these. You want them to look just kind of normal. Okay, there's those. I'll show the back of the box really quick. Beautiful back of the box. Really tells the story of Luthier. Has a nice little kind of description overview. Gives you kind of a 1, 2, 3 steps as well. Kind of like somewhat of the mechanics of the game. Lays some of the components out. Talks about, in this case, the deluxe edition. So this, as well as this gold strip, is only found on the deluxe edition, obviously. And then our kind of typical stuff at the bottom as well. So cool back of the box, really well designed and done by Matt and Co. For that. So some cool stuff there. I'm making a mess. Hopefully, oh man, that dual layer board came out great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm reading it aloud. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, good. So yeah, keep chatting on there. I can't see it, but I know you can all interact because now there's another box that's a mystery box, folks. I have no idea what's in this one. That's what's fun. It's like holidays every day around here. I'm going to set you all down just for a second while I try and open this box without killing myself. I have a feeling these are deluxe items. It could be all the wood, and if so, I should open that earlier. But, I have a feeling it's more deluxe items, but we'll see. Maybe there's a baton in here. See how this opens. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see what we got in here, folks. You are going to be experiencing it at the same time as me. All right. Oh, it is the wood. Oh, it's the wood. Oh, and more. Okay. Okay, awesome. Let's open the, and deluxe stuff. Okay. Ooh, baby, lots. Okay. So first, I'll try and, this is where I wish I had like a headlamp camera, right? A GoPro. So here's the standard items. So for the standard game, there will not be any screen printing, right? So the screen printing is only, for the most part, is only on the deluxe version. So there we have some examples. Oh, this is great. I was so glad. I was worried when I was going to get to see the wood pieces. So this will be neat to be able to kind of take a look at. See if I can get this closer. There we go. So again, kind of basic shapes and silhouettes to show off that you can play with in the game. But of course, and that's great and all. But then the deluxe is where it really shines, because that's, of course, where you have everything is screen printed and really brings the game to life. Whether it's through the instruments, right? And of course, each one has their own crest. Whether it's through your in this case, repairs, your repair tokens. Remember, where are they? Before, those repair tokens were punch out for standard, but for deluxe, they're these. Or perhaps your same thing, your performance tokens, same thing. In the standard, they're these. Other things like the horse and cart are screen printed. I mean, obviously, other things like the tracking your prestige, your points, scoring awards, and so on and so forth. So lots of different stuff to do with the screen printed tokens versus the non-screen printed. So retail, deluxe. Okay, let's open these up. Oh, I'm going to put this down. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to open up the resources, the realistic resources. And these haven't changed too much. I've already seen these, but I think they did change them slightly, hopefully. Yeah. So we've got our animal parts. So that's the animal parts. So in the normal game, it's just kind of a white cube, and then you can kind of play with these animal parts for the deluxe. Or sorry, if you got the realistic resources, and then same thing, it's a wooden cube or kind of a slab of wood. They don't have the metal for me yet because they're still working on that, but that'll essentially be kind of like a metal ingot. But you can see this is kind of a stump of a tree that you'd use. And here's there's a bunch of those and a bunch of those you can see too. So exciting stuff there. And then it looks like the last thing they have in here for me is the pipe organ dice tower. Now, obviously, I'm not going to put that together on camera, and they don't have the packaging for it yet, but you can see that the pipe organ dice tower is essentially going to be coming in, it'll come in like a box. But the tissue paper, I think, is the chimes. There's some felt we want to include on there too. So this will be great for me to try and put this together. So we've put together a couple of them, and there's a couple things that we've run into that we needed to work on, and so this is good to be able to have this one to confirm. Okay, awesome. So that's some other very exciting stuff. This is wonderful to be able to get the wood pieces as well as the retail wood. I think the one thing I'm seeing that they didn't include, which is fine, is the dice. I was hoping to be able to see those too, but that's okay. Those are pretty self-explanatory because they're beautiful wooden dice, chunky wooden dice. But soon I'll be able to have everything I need to be able to pack up the retail version and kind of get a sense for the weight of it and how much space there actually is in that thing. So again, you can see this is a bunch of stuff. I've made quite a mess that I'm going to have to clean up later. I'm going to move back over to my other one to finish up and answer any questions. So if you do have questions or if you have, I'll come on over there and try and answer them. But again, exciting stuff to see all the different things. Now, again, remember that when you have the deluxe version, you're going to store all those fancy bits in a fancy custom little tray. You're going to store all the resources and the money in a fancy custom little tray. So everything will be organized. I mean, if you want to use plastic bags, you can, but you probably won't need to if you got the deluxe version. Well, in the retail version, obviously, we are going to supply you with some plastic bags. Okay, here we go. I'm meandering over. See if I can change over again. All right, so I'll add to stage. I'll unmute, and I think that's it. And then I'm just going to leave this one. Leave there. Okay. Whew. That was a lot. But you can see, hopefully you can see, like, there's a lot going on. I got a pile of stuff back here. The thing I'm probably most excited about is the play mat, because that really worked out well. And I'm excited to kind of take a look at that closer, set things up on it. But everything else is looking as expected. There's only really a couple things like I talked about. There's the embossing, or sorry, the UV on the box needs to be fixed. That's a real problem. I want to make sure that the centering on the punch out is fixed. Otherwise, that's almost everything else. Oh, I see. Can you show the deluxe resources on the dual layer boards? Yes, I can try and do that. I mean, sorry, I only saw that now. Who was that? Sugar Circuit. Oh, wait, is that JB? Are you Sugar, JB? That's Sugar. It's probably JB. All right. This will kind of work, but you can see, I'll do two of them there. Well, since they're recessed, you can kind of see that. So you can see two there. Remember, only 8 can fit in this spot. So actually, here, just as a test, let's stack this sucker full of animals. I wanted to make sure that had enough to fit all the animal. If you were dealing in dead cats, I don't know if this is going to hold. We'll see. Oh God. So you can see that holds it and then some. So those are on the dual layer board there. You can kind of see how those are. So excited about that. And obviously those are fairly big. The wood is slightly smaller. It's almost the same size, obviously shorter, almost the same size as that. So that's good. Yeah, that's okay. I see. Sugar Circuit definitely is JB talking about cannons. So again, yeah, really excited about that. I don't know. I'm seeing if there's any Bleeding on board games is so Paverson. Yes, it's true. It's so true. So I think that's it. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to ask them in the chat right now. I'm happy to answer them. But just to go through a couple other things, I've seen pictures of the inserts. They look phenomenal. I would think they'll get those soon. I've seen pictures of the metal resources. They're looking good. The baton they're working on. The baton is funny because I want it engraved with the Sphinx on the end, on the handle. And they keep sending me pictures of the Sphinx reversed, like flipped. It's not a big deal, but it's like, well, it kind of is. I mean, there's the logo goes one way. So we're working on that. What else am I missing? Baton. We've got this. I've seen and I think I showed the instrument standees, but obviously I'll see some more of those as well. Metal coins is one that we're waiting on still. Really, the inserts are one of the bigger ones, but we've got most of the paper. That was the goal. The paper is the thing that honestly takes the longest, probably because there's just so much of it. And I think we're pretty close with that. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm sure here I can go look through my list. Promo pack, yeah. Enamel Inspiration. Okay. Enamel Inspiration is I've only seen a picture, people, but it was like really nice. So as a reminder, the Enamel Inspiration is the little well, I'm not going to bother trying to get it, but it's the little exclamation mark that's red and it's got a metal, kind of looks like it's metal outline. And I wanted those to be enamel so that it's a metal and then a shiny kind of enamelized in the middle red. And they sent me a picture of it and it looks good. I'm really excited about that. So I think that people are going to be, I hope people are will be quite happy with those as well. The pipe organ dice tower we've seen, the standees. Oh, the engraved worker chips. I can't remember if I showed these to you, but they sent me some samples. They're still working on a couple things, but those are looking really good. I think I did last time. Yeah, I clickety clacked them. I think if I remember right. But those are coming along well. So yeah, really everything is moving along. The deal is that we need to get this. We're hoping to get this to UK Games Expo so we can get it in time to be distributing it, fulfilling it in the UK for our UK backers in the area, but then also have it available at UK Games Expo. Well, the problem is that's late May, early June. And for anyone that knows anything about shipping and logistics, it's not like you put it on a boat and 2 weeks later it's there. It takes a while, months. And so we're really trying hard to try and meet those deadlines. Panda's been really awesome to work with and helping move things forward. And that's why they're shipping things in these increments. And so that's been great. And I really want to thank Clark and everyone at Panda for all the hard work they've been putting in. As well as Matt and his team for the turnaround. Sometimes we have to turn things around pretty quick and get them back to Panda. So that's been good too. So I think that's it. I think I'll probably shut up now because I don't see anyone else. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to try and repack some of this, but also inspect. I have to inspect everything. So I've already inspected the main games. Now I need to inspect all the stuff that arrived today as well. There's always something that needs to be changed or tweaked. And so we'll have to take a look at that. But otherwise, things are moving along well. I have, like I said, we're working on a couple other games. Cocktails is coming along really well. We're almost, probably in the next month, we'll open up to public playtesting on Discord. So if you have not joined our Discord yet, you might want to join it if you have played Tabletop Simulator, because then you can help us playtest Cocktails. We've got a couple other games in the hopper as well we're working on. That I'm hoping to have at least one, if not two of them at Protospiel, Minnesota in late January. So we are really moving forward, really excited about a lot of different stuff, lots of irons in the fire, but it's all exciting stuff. So thanks again to all of you for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate all your support, all your comments. It really does mean a lot. It's the stuff that kind of helps move things forward. And I'll see you next time, everybody. Slán Java.